Welcome to Dance Deep Dive. My name is Jordan Sparks, and it is absolutely pouring rain today, which makes it the perfect day to take a look at Just Rain. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Kendal Vertes. This is her solo Just Rain from Dance Moms. This solo is from season 4, episode 11, and I remember this being one of my favorite solos. We're going to be taking a look back at this solo now that Kendall is an adult, and we're going to be completely breaking this solo down, the performance, the technique, the facial expressions, the movement quality, the staging, costume, absolutely everything about this number, and seeing where it could have been improved and what made it great. So if you're interested in that, make sure to give this video a great big thumbs up, and let's hop right into it. Okay, so right off the bat, I'm seeing a lot more facial expression than we were usually used to seeing from Kendall, so that is what was making this performance engaging right off the top. Also, though, at the same time, Kendall seems to have this kind of nervous look while she's performing, and she rarely lets loose. And so far in this piece, that's still the same thing. It's very pensive, it's very nervous almost. Also, absolutely gorgeous costume. The rhinestoning on that piece must have taken forever. I'm absolutely loving the color. It's gorgeous. So for me, I'm thinking that the costuming, the hairpiece, and everything comes together really cohesively. I like that she chose just a turning shoe and that it is a neutral tone. And I prefer that over like a black jazz shoe any day, unless the costume is all black kind of thing. I personally prefer bare feet or something that matches your skin tone. Now, in terms of technique, I'm seeing a little bit of choppiness here. We didn't have a fully rounded elbow, so Kendall could have extended that a little bit more. Same thing with the knees. The knees could have been a little bit straighter. The ankles could have been stretched. The feet could have been winged. And I just feel like she is a little bit tense and it could be a little bit more relaxed. Now, all of this being said, this is just a deep dive, so we're breaking down what could have made this absolutely exceptional, every little piece in this dance where we could improve. We're not looking at this and saying like, Kendall, you didn't do a great job, because this is obviously a phenomenal job, especially for this age division. So we have to give her credit there, but we are going to break down every little piece in this dance where we could make improvements.
No, I never wanted this. I always keep my promises, but there's something I need to do. Too close to be close by far.
Okay, so I would say that this choreography has some great flow to it, and Kendall is really moving with that flow in some areas, but it's just a little choppy for me. And so I think that that really comes down to breathing in the number, not being so nervous, learning how to trust yourself, which I feel is really impossible to do when you only have 2 days of rehearsal. So that is why I personally like to react to these Dance Moms numbers, because in a Dance Moms number, they typically had 2 days to rehearse. So we're seeing what a performer could do basically at an audition or after like 2 days of rehearsal. And that is absolutely not typical for a dance competition. Most people that we see performing at a dance competition have had months and months and months to rehearse that solo or that group number or that trio duet. And a lot of the time they perform the same solo all season or the same group number, etc. So on Dance Moms, we were seeing them performing a different routine absolutely every single time. So they got a lot of criticism for repeating steps, repeating sequences, things like that. But you have to keep in mind that these were children that were put on the spot to learn a new routine in 2 days, and that's just absolutely not realistic. So in terms of technique here, Kendall has a habit of keeping her shoulders up pretty much all the time. It's not that they're way up by her ears, it's just that they're engaged and tense up here as opposed to dropped and relaxed. You want to really keep flat through your scapula and make sure that your back is flat here. You don't want to be necessarily squeezing your shoulder blades, but you also don't want to be engaging your shoulders up here, because then your lats are released and that's not going to help your core in your turns in anything. So in order to achieve proper alignment, you want to have those shoulders down, engage your scapula and your lats, which is this muscle here. I would also say that Kendall needs to push through that releve and work her feet a lot more. They're doing a lot of close-up shots of her feet in this number, and her feet just have a lot more to give. There's a lot more work that could be exerted there. Overall, though, I think that the movement quality is great. I think that for Kendall, she was really putting on a performance here, and she was doing a great job. Now, when it comes to preparing for her turn, which I have frozen on my screen here, she is facing to the corner, and it's kind of, I think, to fake her turnout, but she is not turning out whatsoever to prepare for her turn, and her feet are turned out, so I'm seeing that it's supposed to look like a turned out turn, but the engagement of the inner rotation muscles, of the hip flexors, the inner thighs, and the butt is just not there. So she's preparing for her turn essentially in parallel to me. I would say that those compass turns were pretty decent. Again, just getting those shoulders down, preparing in a parallel position that's kind of faking an attitude. I'm just like, is this a choreography choice? I'm not sure. Now let's get back into it.
These faults are part of who we are, and I can't breathe when you refuse to move. I can't stay.
Beautiful fan kick. She kind of really milked that moment. I would like for Kendall to milk more moments in her choreography and really finish each movement, especially through the arms. That is what makes her movement quality in this look a little bit choppy, where it could flow a little bit more, is that she's not completing each movement. She kind of goes about 90% and then she just cuts through the transition to the next movement. And in order to have a complete flow to your dancing, you really want to work through your entire port de bras, work through all of your lines and complete every movement and gracefully move through a transition into the next step. I loved that sequence. I thought that that had some great flow to it. Gorgeous job, Kendall. And then we went into a calypso. I think that Kendall gets some great height on her calypsos. I like that she's on fast as she finishes her calypso with the arch at the back. That is all gorgeous. When she rolls to the floor, though, she just releases her ankles. So if you could just stretch your ankles and keep your feet pointed while you're doing any transitions on the floor, and make sure not to hunch your back like this and to just keep your posture nice and elevated, that's going to make your transitions a lot cleaner as well. Let's get back into it. Nice. Okay, gorgeous. Again, it's just completing the lines and flowing through those transitions that she really needs to work on at this stage in her dancing career. I would say that she's doing a gorgeous job with this number, though. I can see why I absolutely loved it. Her facials were there. Kendall, a lot of the time, was like a deer in headlights when she was on stage when she was younger. And again, that's, I think, because there's way too much pressure to put a child on stage in 2 days at their highest level of performance. So I just think that that was a lot of pressure for these kids, and I don't blame her at all. I think it's kind of outrageous to expect any kid to perform with facials and be comfortable on stage after 2 days. So I think that it's a lot of pressure, way too much pressure for children, and that they always rose to the occasion to the best of their ability. But I feel like that is why we often saw a lack of facials or some nervous performances. And so I don't think that it is okay for Abby to have been so overly critical on their performances, especially when they only had 2 days to rehearse. That is why I would like to make this video, to look back now that it's been like almost 10 years since this performance. Kendall did a nice transition, and then she did a step cabriole, and I feel as if her feet, again, I know that there's a lot more articulation there that's available to her. She's just not stretching her ankles and using her feet as much as she could, and she's dancing really soft, which is great. She's getting a graceful element there, but make sure that you're really stretching and lifting the knee, stretching the ankle and pointing the foot while you're dancing in all of your lines. And I just wanted to say that her aerial is beautiful. She makes it look so easy and effortless. That is absolutely gorgeous for a lyrical number. Great job there.
It's just right, 'cause it's just right.
Okay, so again with the turns, she has a tendency, I'm thinking that this is Abby's choreography, where she always seems to prepare facing the corner, and then it's kind of like faking a turnout position, but she's actually preparing in parallel. And then she goes into her turns. She's lacking the turnout in her turns as well, but she has a really, really strong back, and she's really working her legs in her turns and her feet, her ankles. Yes, there's always more to give, but I feel like in her turns, that's where she performs the best at this age. And I feel like it was definitely her strong core and her strong back. Again, making sure to keep those shoulders down in your turns. But I'm questioning why we're always seeing a preparation to the corner in the turnout. I do see that Kendall has a tibular rotation. I've pointed this out in other videos before. That is essentially where your lower leg rotates from the knee down. So her feet always look turned out, but she doesn't seem to be turning out a lot actually from her inner thighs and from her hips. So I feel like those rotators need to work a lot more in order for her to actually be working in her turnout. That being said, the turns look nice. She did a great job with those, and she really finished those off nicely, pulling down from passe down to coupe. I think that she was going to fall off of the Marley there because it doesn't look like there's a lot of Marley on that stage, and so she kind of hopped out of that. I think that that's kind of a smart move, honestly, instead of falling out of it or anything like that. And then I feel like she carries her arms beautifully through this port-a-bras here, and that was all nice. Let's get back into it.
It's just
Gorgeous.
It's just right. It's just right.
Hunchy. Okay, so she's getting really hunchy at this point, and I feel like that's something that Kendall is really focusing on in her numbers, is trying to make sure that she is working with proper posture and really working with perfect posture, because she was getting ragged on and nagged on so much at this point and compared to other people. So I feel like all of those comparisons and stuff are things that she's overworking through in her head while she's on stage, which is making her hold back from really breathing in the performance and being able to be in the moment. And that comes down to the teaching style. And I feel as if she was really doing a great job, though, in this performance. There's some really beautiful moments. There's some beautiful releases where she just did that Batman extension on the floor facing the audience. That was gorgeous. Beautiful smile. And then after that, we got a little bit hunchy. But there are some gorgeous parts in this dance and some gorgeous movement quality, some beautiful transitions. I would really like her to finish her movements through her port-a-bras and her arms. That's where I see the most choppiness in her transitions, is she just kind of scuffs off the end of the arm movement and goes into the next step. But I feel like we're losing a little bit of stamina here towards the end. The shoulders are getting a little bit hunchy and the neck is coming in. You want to keep everything in alignment, your ears in alignment with your shoulders. So we're just losing a little bit of stamina here, but the more that you work on your proper posture during the day, which I definitely don't do that as much as I preach, but the more that you work on your proper posture during the day, not just while you're dancing, the better you're going to be while you're on stage, because it's just going to be becoming second nature and in muscle memory, and you don't have to think about it so much. See, those were really nice turns, and then she just kind of went like blah, with her hands and just jumped into the next part. And those are the kind of transitions I mean, where Kendall needs to like make sure that she's working with her musicality and on the music, so she doesn't have to rush through any transitions that could have been a beautiful moment. Aside from that, those turns were really nice and controlled. Again, she just kind of hopped out of them, but the turns themselves were really nice.
Maybe it's true that disappointing you.
Okay, well, that front aerial walkover was absolutely beautiful. She has really graceful acrobatics. So I would say that both her side aerial and the front aerial walkover were extremely graceful. They definitely fit into the lyrical style. And again, that is from her training as well. So that is great training in terms of lyrical. Now, I'd say that when it comes to acrobatics, it's actually really hard to get that kind of graceful flowing quality to your acrobatics, because acrobatics take a lot of strength and a lot of power. And in order for you to kind of master that and make it look really easy, I applaud Kendall and her teaching on that. That's fantastic.
Was the best thing that I
I would say in terms of movement quality, working on the music and the performance, absolutely everything was coming together. Ironically, in like those last 16 counts, that was beautiful, beautiful transitions, gorgeous movement quality. Her finish at the very end was absolutely fantastic. And I wasn't really expecting that after she was kind of losing stamina towards the end and losing her posture. So absolutely amazing job, Kendall. Way to really, really dig deep and find that last motivation, that last stitch of energy, and really end really strong. That was fantastic. Again, for the turns are strong, but we really just need to see a lot more inner thigh rotation and really, really getting that hip under and using that turnout in those turns, because otherwise we're always going to see the top of the knee and the leg isn't going to look fully extended even when it is. So for Kendall at this age, I would recommend really, really working on that turnout, really working at the ballet bar and really strengthening those external rotators in order to get a nice turned out position, because her turns are so strong. So if she had that extra rotation in her turnout, in her turns, they would be absolutely beautiful. But round of applause to Kendall for this. I thought that she did a fantastic job. There's a lot here, obviously, that I was dissecting and pointing out, but that's because nobody is perfect in dance and there's always so much that we can work on. And I thought that this was a great piece to look back on because she did an excellent job with this piece. Again, she only had like 2 days to learn it, and she did fantastic under those conditions. And also for her age division and everything, that I think that she did absolutely freaking phenomenal with this. But that is why it's great to look back sometimes at your old performances and stuff as well and see where you could have improved once you've separated yourself through time, that you're not really going to be offended or take it personally or anything like that. But I hope that this video is informative and helpful for any of you guys that are working on your own dancing, or for any of you guys that are just curious about what it takes to be a dancer and all of the different elements that go into technique and performance. But let me know what you guys thought of Kendall's performance of Just Rain down in the comments below. I thought that she did a fantastic job. Great job, Kendall. But I think that is it for this video. Thank you for the suggestion. If you'd like to leave any other suggestions of videos that you would like me to react to and do a deep dive on as well, you can let me know down in the comments below. I hope you liked this first dance deep dive. Before we go, I just wanted to thank my patrons and my sparkling star Kaylee for helping make the content on this channel possible. My channel relies on patrons like you for helping make this content possible, so thank you so much. If you'd like to become a patron and help support this channel and get exclusive early access to my reaction videos, you can check out my Patreon at www.patreon.com/JordanJSparks, and you can sign up for as little as $7 Canadian per month. So that is it for this video. You can check out another one over here. You can follow me behind the scenes on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. They are all at JordanJSparks. As always, make sure to be weird, be wild, and stay sparkly, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!